Good evening. I just want to recognize that although I'm a Somerset fan, I am wearing my St. George's colours tonight, right down to the socks. This perhaps will be the last time this year that you'll see me in St. George's colours. But it is great to be in the East End of the island. And thank you, Madam Chair, for the introduction. I want to take the opportunity to provide an update on where we stand and where we want to go. But before I do that, the party chair already recognized that I'll be followed by Minister Cannonier, who will give an update on infrastructure work that's going to take place in the East End specifically. And then Minister Crockwell will give an update on hotel development, perhaps gaming, and perhaps transportation issues in the East End. And then the Deputy Premier and the Minister of Finance will give an update on the airport project. Certainly it's wonderful being in the East End of the island. MP Bascom, thank you for arranging this town hall tonight, and thank you for our wonderful MPs in constituency number 2 and constituency number 4, Nandy Outerbridge, and the Deputy Speaker, Suzanne Roberts-Holzhauser, who I saw earlier in the back of the room. It's great to be in the East End of the island. So here we are now, March 31st, 2015, about midstream, just short of midstream in an election cycle. And we are working our way assiduously towards a better Bermuda for all of us. And I will say straight up front that progress has not been as fast as many people would like, but we have many challenges that we've had to overcome, and we continue to work to make sure that we put ourselves in a better position today than we were yesterday, and tomorrow than we are today. So I believe this year we'll clearly see that the foundation has been set for a better Bermuda for all of us. And as we have said from the very beginning, it comes in 2 main pieces. The first and the foremost is that the foundation has to be set that we will create opportunity and create the ability for jobs to be developed on the island here in Bermuda. And I think, as you've seen over the past couple of weeks through the budget debate, there's a lot of potential for that to take place. And Minister Crockwell will talk specifically to St. George's and how that will transpire here. But there are a lot of irons in the fire, and we feel very confident that the $930 million that the Minister of Finance outlined in the budget debate a couple of weeks ago is an attainable goal for us to do, and we'll work hard to make that happen. So as a aside to the opportunity and growth that we have to have and creating jobs where so many Bermudans are looking for that opportunity, it is also very clear to us that we need to put a structure in place within government to make sure it's sustainable. There's been a lot of discussion about how we do that, and I think everyone will agree and admit that you can't keep spending more than you earn, and everyone has an opinion on how we get ourselves into a better position. But I believe that, as you will see from the current budget that was just passed in the House and in the Senate, that we're on the right track. The budget that was passed at the end of this year, we are confident that we will, for the first time in 7 years, we will earn more revenue than we will spend, and that's a significant achievement. In addition, with that revenue over expenditure surplus, we will be able to say by the end of this year that our yearly deficit will be decreased by $110 million, or 30%. Now, we still have a long way to go, but we believe within 2 budget cycles, we will be well on the road to recovery, where after revenue and expense, after the capital account, and after deficit funding, we will have a surplus position. And that's our goal, and we intend to get there. And I think the Minister of Finance has done a good job of putting us on the road to that position. But it all means that to do that, we have to right-size government, but at the same time, we have to be able to offer the services that people expect and want to receive. And I'll talk a bit more about that in a couple of minutes. I want to shift gears a bit to talk about the Ministry of National Security. As the Minister of National Security, I think it's important to reflect on some of the work, and I just wanted to take this opportunity to update you all on some of the work that's been done, because we didn't have the opportunity to debate it in the Senate during the budget debate, but we did in the House. And I think before the last election, you will all agree that we were facing serious challenges with gangs and guns in Bermuda. Those challenges still exist, but we've made tremendous progress. Things have been quiet. This is the end of the first quarter of 2015, and touch wood, we have not had a shooting since early December of 2014. We have always said all along when we were in the opposition, and now that we're in the government, that we want to stop the shooting. It doesn't mean that they will be stopped overnight, but we have to put programs and policies in place and support the Bermuda Police Service to allow those shootings to be reduced and to stop. And we've made significant progress in there. So in spite of the lull in the shooting, it doesn't mean that we ease back on the throttle and what we have to do to try to put policies in place. The work that we started continues on. We continue to work in all sectors of the community with the Interagency Gang Task Force that is chaired by our colleague, the Junior Minister of National Security, Jeff Barron. And the Interagency Gang Task Force operates on a number of different levels. It operates to bring all the enforcement agencies together to coordinate on the best approach and to work with the police on the best approach to reduce the violence. It also works throughout the community with the educational arms of our community and the prevention arms of our community to make sure we reach out and turn people away from that type of lifestyle. We believe their work behind the scenes has been instrumental, not only in the schools through the GREAT program and beyond rugby programs and things like that that we've seen taking place, but also in the mediation programs which we started shortly after becoming the government with Team Street Safe, which continues today and is funded through the ministry and also through private sector support. And we will continue to support the Bermuda Police Service as much as we can to give them the tools that they require to get the job done. So we see crime at the lowest levels that we've seen in some time, but we must not rest on where we are. We must continue to move forward. I want to reflect just for a few moments on the work that's been done and is continuing on in another area of the Ministry of National Security, and that would be corrections. Corrections only gets focus when something bad happens in our community. But clearly, there's been tremendous progress made over the past number of years in corrections. And I refer to specifically the recidivism rate, which has dropped to 22%. Recidivism measured over 3 years. If somebody is back in front of the courts and incarcerated, our 3-year rate is 22%, which is significant. It shows that the programs are working within corrections and will continue to move in that direction. The other thing that I think is important to, for all of you to understand is that at the present time, and it's been like that for a few months now, we are at our lowest level of inmates in our correction facilities, whether it be Westgate in the west end of the island or the farm or co-ed here in the east end. We are probably at just under 60% occupancy in corrections, and we are looking at ways to make sure that we can continue to make the system more efficient. Now, why are we in that position? I think some of the programs are working, but also we are continuing to use some of the levers to get people out of incarceration and allow them to be monitored where appropriate. And so electronic monitoring devices are something that play very highly in all our programs, and they've proven to be a success, and we'll continue to use those, whether it's court services, whether it's on parole, or whether it's in the courts where the judges order them to be put on.